So good evening, sir. And first of all, many thanks for inviting me to this platform. And good evening to all present over this platform. So from the hustle bustles of the day, from stem cell to the aortic, and now we are back to the basic. Groin management, nightmares, tips and tricks. So basically, in this talk, I will be speaking more. It will be a more like a theoretical talk. Though in recent times, use of transradial axis is on the rise, the common femoral artery at the groin still remains as the most common vascular axis used for the majority of percutaneous, coronary, peripheral, and other interventions. The specific advantage which common femoral artery in this groin area offers is the large arteriotomy, which permits to us to accommodate the larger size catheters so that we can access the aorta and its major branches very easily. Also, the radial, in comparison to the radial artery, femoral artery is less prone to spasm, and which again offers another added advantage. Although femoral access at groin is considered quite safe, but sometime it may lead to various complications, which may range from the hematoma formation, pseudoaneurysm, EV fistula formation, dissection, and very rarely to occlusion, and which may threaten limb and life both. Most of these vascular access complications are preventable by just following good access technique, starting with a good patient selection through a thorough history and physical examination. There are certain tips and tricks that can guarantee a safe and proper start and finish for any arterial procedures. So to optimize common femoral artery access procedure, we can divide these steps into the three groups. First one is the pre-procedure evaluation, then the procedural techniques, post-procedure care, and complications. Out of these three steps, each step is of equal importance for establishing safe access, and there remains certain tips associated with each step. So we will review all these three steps one by one, and we'll see how we can achieve this vascular access, how we can secure this vascular access safely. So first step and very basic step for any interventional procedure, just like we do a lot of evaluation for our procedure, we should actually spend time for evaluation of this groin area as well. In the pre-procedural evaluation, there are three to four things which are very important, and we must pay good amount of attention to these. And first most remain the history, which is an often underappreciated but extremely important aspect of the procedure. We should record in detail regarding the relevant medical or surgical history in the groin area, history of any previous interventions like by placing of a stent, bypass graft, or recent history of using the vascular axis, common femoral artery as a vascular axis, and then using the vascular closure device for achieving hemostasis. Next important steps is physical examination. Before going ahead with the femoral puncture, we should pay a very clear attention to the distal pulses or any other sign and symptom of peripheral vascular disease, groin infection, or common femoral swelling in the common groin area, like which may suggest some overlying hernia or recent surgery. After examination, we must record our lab data, look for the coagulation parameter, if patient is on any anticoagulation therapy, general blood investigation like hematological, biological parameter like serum creatinine, sodium, potassium. As we know, in CKD patients, there is platelet dysfunction, and then these patients pose higher chances of vascular access complications. If they are available, we must review our non-invasive test data like ultrasound report, MRI, CT, or any other axial imaging, where we can, before the procedure, we can pick up like some stenosis or occlusive lesion, which will prevent us and from choosing that side as a vascular axis, and we may look for the other alternative vascular axis. Next important step is the procedural technique. So technique is again very important step. So for this presentation, I will cover technique in two parts. First is the equipment, and second is the procedural step. So in equipment part, we need a puncture needle. So based on the patient history which we have collected, there are basically two type of puncture needle available, and we should select very carefully. If the patient is obese or he's on any anticoagulation, then we should, instead of taking 035 axis needle, we should opt for the micro axis needle. Anyway, micro axis needle, if you can use it routinely, it's a more safer and than the routine 035 axis needle. Previously, I mean, we should try to do the single wall puncture, and that will come in the next step. But previously, when guidance was not available, then this double wall puncture was used to a technique for this special especially designed needle with a blunt tipped hollow needle and a beveled stylet used was used to be used. Next equipment is the access seat. So we should select access seat based on our procedure, the French size of the access seat, and with a atraumatic tape. And another important thing, to avoid any complication, we should actually use continuous hyperinized saline flush through the side port, or we should do the frequent flushing to avoid the clot formation in the seat. Coming on to the procedural steps. So how to obtain a safe and secure access? First thing is the puncture site location. So if we look here in this diagram, the ideal site for a femoral arterial puncture is at the mid femoral head, approximately 1 centimeter lateral to the medial border of femoral head. Please note, this is the ideal site of femoral artery puncture site. This is not the ideal site for entering, for the skin incision site. So skin incision should be 1 to 2 centimeter down this target area, and roughly lower head of femoral artery offer safe skin entry site. And if we are entering from here, we will most probably land up puncturing the common femoral artery in the desired location. And again, the angle of the needle is very important. Like generally 30 to 45 degree or 60 degree angle we should maintain from the horizontal, so that at least it will travel for around 2 centimeter distance before it hit the femoral artery. However, if the patient is obese, we can make this angle acute. We may actually go almost 90 degree or like 70, 80 degree, because to avoid puncturing higher into the inguinal area or above the inguinal area. So this is how the on fluoroscopy we actually decide the location. And in this C image, we have this needle entering just in the skin, just below the femoral head. And by doing this, we have obtained this mid common femoral artery puncture depicted in the PA and the oblique view. Next step is the puncture technique. So actually, there are three methods which are used to identify the proper
Dr. Prasad,
location. Yeah.
so you have 2 minutes left. Kindly hurry up.
Okay. So three methods are used to identify proper location of the common femoral artery. One is the first is the traditional method, where we just palpate and by visual landmark like a inguinal crease, we do the femoral artery puncture at the most palpable thrill location. But this is a very, I mean, crude method. And here, this is one example. This gentleman was 67-year-old male who presented with acute cardiac event and was attempted PCI somewhere from the radial approach, but PCI was not successful. So patient was referred here, but in the process, the radial artery was gone. So now in our hospital, the access was secured into the common femoral artery by just palpation method, and post procedure patient landed up with the huge hematoma in the thigh with a pseudoaneurysm. And with this angiogram, we can see actually the puncture was done into the lateral circumflex femoral artery, not into the common femoral artery. So this patient was referred to us. We selectively did the selective coil embolization, and somehow this complication was overcome. Next is the fluoroscopy method, and most basically presently USG guided and fluoroscopy guided, both the modalities are used in combined so that we can do the safe puncture between the inferior epigastric artery origin and the common femoral artery bifurcation. Ultrasound also offer the advantage of sometime variations which we may encounter, like in previous case there was one variation, we can see the bifurcation was little higher up, or sometime we may have an anterior femoral vein. Then these all things can be evaluated by the ultrasound very nicely, and which can save us from the future complications. So these are the images for fluoroscopic and ultrasound guided puncture. After securing vascular access, it is must to obtain a pre-procedure and post-procedure femoral angiogram, because uh, it will help us in detecting any complication early, and we can treat the complication again. So then next part is the post-procedure care. So first is the sheath removal or hemostasis. So most of the time it is the manual compression, but manual compression should be done in such a way, we should compress the artery at least 1 inch above the skin puncture site. And before doing this, we should always check for the ACT. If ACT is less than 150 seconds, then only we should try the manual
Dr.
compression.
Prasad,
Otherwise,
so we are
yeah.
running really short of time. Kindly hurry up.
Then manual compression, 20-minute manual compression in 5 minutes at 4 set complete. Then 75 pressure, 50 pressure, and 5-minute pressure. So this is how we can, and then the recheck again for 5 to 10 minutes. If there is no bleeding, apply the pressure dressing. Keep on checking distal dorsalis pedis artery pulse during this compression, just to avoid the thrombosis. In spite of all these things, there are many complications which can happen and which can be tackled by the various endovascular applications. And recognition and early treatment of these complications can prevent more serious complications like limb loss and death. Recently, vascular closure devices offer added advantage, but each device has its own unique insertion technique, failure mode, and complications. And in one such cases, I had this nightmare. This was the 28-year-old lady who came with the ABM uterine, ABM post DNC. We did the uterine artery embolization and closed this puncture site using the perclose. But actually, after 28 days, patient returned back to us with the claudications, and we found this complete occlusion. We tried the endovascular salvage, and here you can see actually in this case this complication happened because we did have a higher puncture. It was just at the level of or above the inguinal level, and that's why the angulation of the foot plate was not good, and this device caught our posterior wall, and we failed to salvage this patient by the endovascular means, and there was a lot of clot migrating distal, which we need to aspirate it out. Finally, we took the help of surgeons. They did the bypass, and the patient was safe. So thank you. Basically, to avoid any groin area complications, the rule is to stick to basics, check history, check lab, do the examination, don't skip any step. There is no magic wand which can actually offer as a tip or trick. It's all the basic to which you have to stick. Thank you for the kind attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raghunandan Prasad and